everyone, and welcome back. Today is quite the day. I am filming this the day of the Leyline ban, whenever I decide this video needs to be uploaded and out. But this is where we are, playing with the Esper Eerie deck. We had a couple of changes. A lot of people recommended playing this card. I did play a blue-black variation that played this in it recently, and it popped off. It was also me realizing that Nashi can pick up more than one enchantment at a time. So it's very cool. So we're going to try out this Esper list with the Nashi in there. But if you don't know what this deck list is trying to do, basically we have the Pixie and Fear of Isolation acting as pretty similar things, just slightly different in terms of picking up a permanent that we've already put into play, whether that's a Hopeless Nightmare that makes our opponent discard a card, we pick it back up to replay it, or we do something like a Bandit's Talent, for example, if we want to hopefully hit them for a lot more cards potentially. Outside of that, Nowhere to Run is the anti-aggro card of the deck, along with Sheltered by Ghosts, but Nowhere to Run is a lot more synergistic. I'm not going to try again. Just, you have to deal with the fact that I said it wrong. That's on you. Kidding. But it has a lot more synergy in our deck with the Pixies and Fear, being able to pick it back up, put it back in our hand, replay it, remove a creature, pick it back up, put it back in our hand, and do all that kind of nonsense. And then we have the Sheltered by Ghost here as probably the best anti-aggro card in the game when it comes to just putting it on an early creature and generating a ton of value and gaining a lot of life. As you grow out of range of any of the crazy like slick shot turns, is I think one game we were all the way at 29 by turn 4 or something like that. It was pretty cool because immediately we went Scavenger, exile your thing, just keep hitting you, remove it with a Nowhere to Run, put a counter on here, just keep pushing the advantage. Then for the card we're trying in Nashi, this is whenever it deals combat damage, we mill over that many cards equal to its power or how much damage it did, I believe. Nashi deals damage to combat when it deals combat damage to a player. You mill that many cards. Okay, so it's how much it does. But when you mill it over, you can put any enchantments in. If not, we put a counter on it, which is very nice. It's also a good creature to attach stuff to, as it has menace, so it can keep attacking if that's what we need to happen. So that's very cool. And then we play the tracker for card draw, and then we play one Liliana as the top end, kind of final bullet card that we're playing. Everything else is pretty much 4 of. Nashi's a legendary, so it's a little bit weird if it starts going off. We don't really need too many copies. You could argue maybe just like cutting this and playing 4 of these, but Liliana does win us a game in one of our matches. Outside of that, we're on 22 lands. I keep fumbling them around. I played more Surveil lands this time because it made sense, because the meta's a little bit slower with Leyline ban. With that said, I don't have a lot of time, so let's go ahead and dive into games. If you all enjoy my content, please consider subscribing. Let's head out there and see if this Esper deck has gotten a little bit better, or maybe even worse, with how the new meta is adjusting currently right now, and the bigger decks are hopefully coming around, and actually more archetypes are playable. I don't know why, but the pixel thing threw me off quite a bit. Yeah, so we have bandits, we have the pickup for the Nowhere. We just kind of want to see what happens, I suppose. And it's a pretty good curve. Honestly, anything other than a land, Fear, I guess I'll keep. Because worst case scenario, we just cycle the Bandit's Talents over and over again. Sure. I will definitely play a Surveil land, put the Scavenger down. It's just Squirming Emergence, it looks like. Pixie seems fine. We'll play here. Squirming Emergence will be pretty happy about discarding a lot of stuff here. Or maybe it's not, I'm not sure. Take a draw. Play here. We'll put in the Bandit's Talent. We'll make them mill. We'll counter up our Scavenger. Put a little bit of pressure on as well. Reach some multiverse. Yeah, that makes sense. So I think it's confirmed now. It's probably just Squirming Emergence. This is just for value. Maybe they play a couple of the kind of expensive creatures that they can put in for cheap. There's an Overlord. I guess that draws as well. I'm sure meta's in a weird place now. A land draw, not ideal here, I don't think, but we'll play this. We'll try to keep up with the Beanstalk. It's just not going to really be that possible. These levels up, I suppose. We'll do 5 damage. Now we do have a lot of pressure, which is definitely a difference based on what's happening in this game. Veil land's a little slow. That impinges. That's fine with me. Stop for here. Pick this up. Not really going to get their hand size down at all, I don't think. Here, spread out the love. Maybe a cut down gets avoided later because of that. Now, banish talent, we'll put it on the fear. Maybe they counter the banish talent. They just don't want to keep dealing with it over and over again. Maybe they have a removal spell. Alright, well, that's gone permanently, so that's fine. Waiting until I put a banish talent in play is a little interesting for sure. I feel like they would have just done it when I put the first enchantment out, but maybe there's something more important to them. Now I have 2 flyers that are good. We can kind of shoot down and attract, so there's not really a whole lot in there. They deadly cover up, so it's not Squirming Emergence. It's just like some weird version. I mean, I guess I should have known, but okay. Sure. Did they even exile? Fear of Isolation, and it just happens to hit me really, really hard. Sucks. Pixie. Yep. Play. Card something. Yes, sure. Level. There's this weird situation. Another Beanstalk is devastating, especially if they find another Overlord here. Another land. They go under. Sure. Sure. Card. Level. Back. We have a chance because of this burn right here, but sure. Come on. Can't block my flyer, so it's definitely an interesting spot. You have a draw. Okay. The draw 2, I guess. I don't know what they'll exile. Maybe the Pixie? I guess it's the only thing in there. And my 2 cards in hand, and now I can't bounce the banish talents anymore. They get rid of their own creature in the process, but that's fine. Nashi's a pretty good card. Could have maybe went for leveling up there, but I'll play Nashi regardless. The enchantment situation is going to be a little bit tough. Did they not exile the Pixies out of my deck? Just do the ones in my graveyard by accident? Because I play 4. Terra Thunder or something? A Breach Multiverse maybe? We saw one of those earlier. That's why I thought it was like a Squirming Emergence deck. They play this. But, sure. Huh? Combat? Back? What do we have? I guess, brother. They're at 3. They're at such a vulnerable life total. I just don't know if I'll ever get there. Oh, well, they play the fungus that I don't know if I've ever seen a lot of people play. Flash this in. I flash, let's just play it generically. Fungus can blow up my thing. Will they do it now? Okay, sure. I'll take the card draw here then. Sure. Okay. They have a creature land? They do not. And we actually get there. Crazy. Crazy game. I did not expect to get there. I put myself in the blender thinking they were Squirming Emergence because I saw the Breach the Multiverse. And I just like, it's an exile now. Because I saw this as their first discard. And then they played Beanstalk, which then also threw me off. I have no idea. Alright, my opponent goes first. I can keep this, I think. Played them earlier. They showed red sleeves, but they're mono blue Hottie pile, I think. We'll see. Yep, they were mono blue Hottie pile. I guess just interact. They don't play helping hand or anything, so these discards are actually kind of good. Take one discard. The second black mana doesn't help. I guess I could put a Nashi in. That'd be kind of cool, but I kind of want to surveil, I guess. And its talents. Can I have that back, please? That's not my hopeless nightmare I'm trying to cast. Now they can use a counter spell if they want. Honestly, I'm kind of privy to it. I'd rather them use a counter spell in this. Oh, change the equation. Okay. Fair enough, my guy. I just wait and I flash in the tracker on instep. I think this is a card of value more than a matchup of not. Flash in, it sticks. Maybe they have a bounce, but that's fine with me. They spent 3 mana to bounce that thing. Okay. We find a land, an untap one specifically. That'd be kind of nice because I could play Nashi and then play a Bandit's Talent. A non-tap land. So I'll play here. Put that down. I don't know if they put anything in there. Maybe they put an island. I'm not sure. They have to discard. Get rid of a negate that was held down because they spent 3 mana to bounce this. There's a terror. I can get rid of said terror, I suppose. Sheltered by Ghost is also a good card. I guess I just take my entire turn to pop this out of the way. Counterspell there, negates in the yard. I attack for 2. One of the downsides of playing the mono blue pile is like, Hottie obviously really good, but I think the problem being like, I guess the situation is just the same, right? The problem being that you can't helping hand it back. There's a crab that doesn't have protection, but they're looking to use these maps. They already played a land, so going down here is actually good for us. There's the best card in their deck. That's interesting, but this crab's not going to be here, so we know what their next turn is. So them pumping this more is actually good for us. With 1 mana, I don't think I have to play around much else. I'm going to play this tracker here. On here. Exile there. And put a counter here. Now crab's gone. I draw land. I play land. I upgrade to talent. And then I attack for 4, gain some life. And now this is like either a dead card in hand. Hottie has to be played here. And then I just play Nashi. Oh no. Bounce spell here? Interesting. Wanting to bounce my thing to get the crab back. So we will only attack with the 4/3. Or to tap. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Life total under some pressure. Ward 2. Obviously they got to tap. They got to pay it. That's fine with me. Now we play Nashi. No real enchantments in hand, so I'd much rather upgrade this. But obviously they're going to want to play this Hottie. At least I would hope so. Hottie, spell costs 1 less. The ward's still relevant. Stacking this map's actually good news for us. That means 3 steps ahead is not viable. I have a creature with menace. I take a draw. I take another draw. Now here's where the things get a little weird, because now we equip this on the creature that already has ward, so they can't do anything about it. And if they bounce the other thing, then it doesn't matter, right? So like, now we get this. Honestly, I think I take out Hottie. It's a little weird. Because this will just get bigger as the game goes on. This is just kind of like a perma 5/5. And I could have like played this first and then played the Sheltered by Ghost, but I'm going to be honest with you. I kind of just assumed they were going to concede here. Because it's going to come in, give this like much more power and stuff. And then like they have problems with the board. It's going to draw a card, things like that. I should play a little bit tighter. I've been playing a lot of games today. I should play the Scavenger and then go there. But mana please falls short once again. But that's okay. Happens. We go first. This hand's pretty good. No way to rebounce this or these, but we have plenty of those in our deck, so we'll keep a hold of this. I'm going to opt for the Scavenger first. because it also makes Sheltered by Ghost draws live. So it's kind of the idea. Nowhere to Run might be used to remove this 1-drop that's lethal on turn 3. Sheltered by Ghost almost immediately. What a draw. Yeah, it's just like, that's just sick work, you know? That thing's gone. They get hit for 3, and then we get to Nowhere to Run. This is like one of the weird games where just like one more black source typically means like we have everything covered and it's going to be really hard to lose. Can't get everything, I suppose. Let's just remove this now. The reason we're doing it now is so we can make Scavenger bigger and just kind of keep negating the damage they're doing every turn by resetting the creatures. And who would have thought Sheltered by Ghosts is really, really good. That a Slick Shot? I mean, that's a good chance. That a Ruckus? That's a good chance. Little they know, I just have another Nowhere to Run, so it doesn't really matter. I'll go up to 29. Very cool. And on 2 mana, we might actually come away with this game. Surprise, surprise. Your deck's pretty good at bullying the aggro decks. Then we fire this off. And then it can kind of absorb this. They can make a couple of doodads, something. But getting the creature out of the way, this would actually make it big enough with a monster trade in order to get around our Nowhere to Run. More counters on this, and our opponent decides that it's time to leave because I didn't put a counter on their creature. Yeah, I mean, our deck's kind of catered to beat the aggro decks. We just have to make sure that's what we're running into. Opponent goes first. Just like a backstreet turn, maybe. Guess so. We'll know what they're playing most likely by turn 1 land. Floppy Hammer. That's gross. That is gross. Yeah, we'll just play it. Well, now it's weird, but I think I still want to play this Surveil land. Most likely against mono black. The fear is pretty good, especially with something like a Hopeless Nightmare. But most likely we'll play Scavenger, Hopeless Nightmare. Oh, it's blue black. Interesting. Fire this off. Maybe I play 2. Maybe I just like make them both like really good threats, right? I guess that's also fine with me. If I play both, I can then Hopeless Nightmare and then Fear of Isolation, picking up the other one and cut down, probably coming through. I haven't played any discard yet, so them firing off these cut downs means their hand's going to be vulnerable to our discard a bit later. Whether they know that's what we're doing or not. 3rd cut down, they were ready. Okay. Arena working its magic. You know, exactly as we need it to. You're going to be like, wow, should have had that other cut down for this 2-3. Hopeless Nightmare fires off. Next turn, their hand gets hit pretty hard with Hopeless Nightmare plus the Banish Talent. Now, the only fear from us is like Liliana's kind of hard to beat. Maybe they have a Go for the Throat, another Anoint hand. That's going to be removal spell number 5, if that's the case. Yeah. Man, they were like, if you play Domain, I guess I'll lose. I mean, I get it. It's not what the format's at right now by any means, but I go for that. Is it blue-black poison? I mean, it has to be. Like, nobody plays this if not poison, right? But yeah, now if they get a land, their hand's so vulnerable. I might even play the talent and then level up the talent. They go for tap land here, and they do. Oh, well. Or I'll just draw an untapped source. That also works. We'll do Banish Talent. It tapped 2 black mana, so I guess I won't upgrade this. I mean, I guess I do upgrade it, right? Removal spell number 6. Okay. Thankfully, we have a Banish Talent to put in work. They go for another Augury. Or what? Yeah, I'm so glad about this, by the way. That's only really annoying. Why would it tap both? I don't have a white card in my hand. Just tap this, brother. But it wants to do the basics so our mana is as open as possible, and I get it, but it's also just like annoying. You're annoying when you do that. Fail, Nowhere to Run can go. They're all about getting poison in play. Here's a Nightmare. Nightmare, Nightmare, Nightmare. Now they can decide what they want. It's an island. I fire the Pixie off. Get this. Maybe they have a sack, put a poison on us, which is what they need to happen. Play the Nightmare. We'll We'll take this last card, regardless of what they do. Okay, removal spell number 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Shuffler's fine, peeps. No worries. Level up. Play land. Call it a day. They'll take a damage. They're down to 8. I mean, to be fair, honestly, them having a ton of removals actually helped us. Hey, we got a poison. Very nice. We don't draw an extra card. Seems good. Seems fine. Wow. The problem is if they start hitting lands, it's gonna like backfire. Yeah, there's the kill creature or sacrifice creature thing I was thinking about. In turn, I'll take 2. They're down to 4. We'll sacrifice one of these nightmares on their end step. The problem is they can't really go down on cards. They've already used 2 experimental auguries, so like that kind of proliferate's not happening anytime soon. And I only have 2 poisons, so the counterspell is not super strong here. I'll take my turn. This will trigger. I'll draw. And I'll just play another one. I meant to activate this Hopeless Nightmare again, but this should be lethal if it resolves, and it should resolve almost no matter what. Unless they have a way to counter that ability, and they do not. And then upkeep, banish talent, and they die. Wow. I mean, what a way to win, I suppose. That's everybody's name a troll name. Worry. Shadow Mare's here. I'm such a great. I love it. Like, I actually hate it, but I love it at the same time. Yeah, so weird turn to do this around. I guess I can just do this a bit differently. Let's start with the scavenger. I feel like I'm playing Affinity right now. Then we can play Surveil Land once we know what it is. Okay, maybe banish talent, sure. Play Surveil Land, maybe find out some information. Perfect card on the top. This will also be turned on, so that is something to think about. And we'll kind of take a card away from our opponent. Big auras, big whammies, no diffy. The main thing we have to watch out for is like Ethereal Armor plus Monster Trade. Shelter by Ghost, actually perfect. Because they'll take our thing and then we'll remove it. And the Shelter by Ghost will be gone. Make that card look silly. That's ours now. Very sick. Enters, and now we play the Pixie. And I just pick up this Nowhere to Run again. And now we get to kind of just play this weird, awkward game. Where it's like, alright, reset. You? Ethereal Armor is hard to beat. One of the things that Nowhere to Run finds a little problems. Couple land drops might not be the worst. Nowhere to Run will probably be held up for like ever. Kind of this weird thing, because now our opponent's in this weird spot where they thought that was going to be just good enough, because most likely I couldn't remove it. Then they get this attach like Ethereal Armor and whatnot into play. So they go for the mouse. I have a Get Lost. They could have protection. So I do have to kind of play a little weird here. Just get it off the battlefield. You know what we got to do here. And I'm going to spread the love a bit. And then they might think that's all we have. Pixie will pick back up to Nowhere to Run. You know, be a very consistent gamer. And then at some point we'll find a Shelter by Ghost, and that'll just be better. They hit a land drop now. Now it's a little weird. If they could play a big enough creature and then put the Ethereal Armor on when I don't have the mana available, they can kind of figure it out. Something like that could do it. Like the Prowess would work. But what if I tell you we draw the best card, the one of in the deck, the Liliana of the Veil, to win this game? Sometimes Arena just looks at you and says, you know what you need? You need a win today. You know, we banned Leyline out from under you when you kind of pre-prepped 2 videos already and you were ready to do the rest. You have to restart the entire film stream over and go again. And so, you know, I'll take the dub. Very cool. Opponent goes first. Nowhere to Runs are really good. Ashi's kind of cool. Banish Talent's here. Don't have any of my 1 mana nonsense, so keep it a bit weird. Do I surveil? Probably not. I should probably just play my fast mana. I'll play Surveil Land if it comes up, but all this fast mana is just too good, I think. Play here. We'll diversify a bit. I could go for the Nashi, but they might think I'm just discard if I go for Banished Talent. So it'll be this like weird thing where they're like, oh, they're just discard deck. Maybe they won't have a lot of creatures and we can make them discard something like that, maybe? Who knows? Seems like mono white control with Caretaker's Talent most likely if I had to guess. Most likely, I feel like I'm right, but I could be wrong, obviously. Now, not upgrading this is definitely a telltale sign. They probably have a flash spell or a counter spell of some kind, so they have to deal with that. We'll play the tracker. Hopefully this kind of sticks. Maybe they'll just remove it immediately. Get lost is fine. But now I can play the Nashi. What do we hit here? Sheltered by Ghost is fine. I'll play the Nashi. And I will put a counter on it. And then my opponent will know what I have. Which is just good for like playing around certain things. Like for example, we get their eat the Archangel. Maybe, I guess. The Elspeth Smite might come through. You have a laydown arms too? Oh yeah, my bad, brother. Feels like weird sequencing, but sure. They're like, play this, make a dude, then lay down arms that. Like, yeah, I guess. It's fine. Archangel's gonna be a little bit annoying, I guess. I can only pick this up. I guess leveling this doesn't do anything, right? Maybe I should just keep up 2 nowhere to runs in case a Caretaker's Talent comes in. Then I can play Pixie, Shelter by Ghost, and start absorbing some stuff. All picking up the Banished Talent again. Play land. As long as they don't play a Caretaker's Talent, I feel pretty good. Fine, I guess. Be a hard game to grind out. They want to drag us to the late game, and they're already doing so. So it's a little bit tough for sure. Pixie, target here. Kind of all instantly resolves, so that's a good sign for us. Pop here. Hit a Surveil Land. Thankfully, we didn't play our land down. Play the Surveil Land. Sewer. I can stop drawing lands at any point now. That'd be cool. And then I guess I can force them to use their board wipe. Take that out. And if they want to Sunfall the board, it does clean up their kind of hand. And then I can play Banished Talent to level it. Yeah, so this is definitely board wipe or Elspeth Smite. So I'm just not going to block. Like, I think it's a Sunfall. It screams Sunfall. Means our Banished Talent's going to be good. During Innocence, okay. Maybe it's just a Smite then. Alright. That's interesting. Maybe their last card is Sunfall? I mean, it kind of tells me it might be. Can I stop drawing lands, please? Like, holy cow, man. At no point do I really feel like I need to be able to level all these all the way up. I played 23. I understand it's like not the smallest amount of all time, but yeah, I would say we're just like a Caretaker's Talent away from just losing. Now this is where you have to wait for the trigger, the first one to happen, and then they target, and then I remove whatever they target. But now next turn they just have 9 power with lifelink on the board. I'll draw another land here and pick them up. Wow, it's almost like Arena's predictable when it makes you flood. That you're just going to draw lands for the rest of the game. One of those first, no real good creatures. We do have a Get Lost to stabilize and maybe flash this tracker in if we don't have to play a Lily. Just kind of depends what our opponent's on. But we'll keep this. Any 3 landers in this deck normally in our opener we want to keep. So. Seems good. Play land. We'll pass. It's probably... I can't imagine it's actually Rakdos, but who knows. Mono red? Are you mono red? Are you Mardu? You are Mardu. Okay. Interesting. Fail land, not what I want to see. if this game comes out to being all land draws, I will freak out, as I've been struggling with that so far today. I've had to change my land count in my deck like 5 different times, because earlier today I couldn't find any lands, and then I went up to 24, and then I just flooded multiple games in a row and never found another card. So it's just like been this back and forth kind of thing. Sure. I didn't realize that 6 damage was that important yet. I kind of want to flash this in, but I think Liliana just minus is probably best. Eventually they'll run out of creatures, I think.
One of your friends has to leave.
Liliana pluses start getting really good. Weird to see him. Alright, my bad. Guess I was wrong, I don't know. Interesting game.
Nothing more.
Alright, more creatures. Oh boy. Hey, there's the good old-fashioned removal we need. Now, I guess it should be banish talent, limit their hand as much as I can. Damp can just sack itself too. That's interesting. The next turn is going to have to... That players never change, man. Never change. They discarded both the mouse and the sellsword. They didn't discard a land. They just discarded them both. Never change, red players. We need you. Need you so bad. Alright, we don't need you anymore. Go away. Fair enough. I hope they sack this. That'd be sick. Be sick for us. Ah, they don't. They're too smart. They're too smart. Now here's the weird part. What's the best way to go about this turn? Hit whatever they target with the monster trades, but then target lizard, mouse, otter, raccoon? Or is it just like play the tracker, exile the scamp? Double read this. Lizard, mouse, otter, or raccoon. Lizard, mouse, otter, or raccoon. Okay. We play here. Sweet. Play here. Sweet. And then we shelter by ghost this. That thing's gross. And we hate it. We'll ping them. They'll monster trade us for like 5 or something. They will know where to run it. And then we have to hit them. It's like 5. No, yeah, 5. 6. I go to 2. I get hit a lot, is what I'm trying to say. Hopeless Nightmare is cool. Here. Here. Good. Here. Okay. Fair enough. Well, it's been a weird day for the Esper deck, for sure. I have not ran as well with it today as I did previously. A little of that is because a lot of the big decks have come out since the Leyline ban. Just made me kind of manipulate it a bit. I tried Nashi in here. It worked really well in the blue-black version, which was really nice. Like, I saw the value of this card, so I'm going to keep it in. But I didn't necessarily get to see it today as much. It got removed pretty often. But I think the foundation of this deck stays the same. Shelter by Ghost is really good. Nowhere to Run is very good. And bouncing either of them is just good, along with the Hopeless Nightmare. And there's not a whole lot more outside of that that's just good. Now, Banish Talent is interesting. I like it a lot. The card that I'm kind of like on the fence about, because as you can see, Liliana is a one of. I had a lot of land problems today. But the Scavenger now feels weird to me. It's like... Before, it was so important to have this Scavenger on turn 1 because you just had to have a Shelter by Ghost target. But now without it, I feel like we might have better options than to play this, and maybe we can solidify our deck up a bit, maybe play more removal and things like that. This was the only card that I was kind of like a little underwhelmed with. Obviously, its like ability to put extra counters on things is great, but whenever like we're prioritizing Pixie with bouncing a lot of stuff more than anything. It's a little bit weird, but it's also just good. Like, I don't know. Looking here seems like the best, or maybe like the Fear of Isolation, or just having to trim it down a bit. The blue-black deck felt a little bit better. I've played all these decks back to back, so it's kind of like a mesh for me, but blue-black almost kind of felt a little bit nicer with the addition of Nashi and the format slowing down, where I didn't necessarily have to have a Sheltered by Ghost at all times, so it's a little bit weird for me. Other than that, I mean, it still felt fine, though. Like, it felt okay whenever it actually worked, but the amount of games that I kind of flooded, or like I was stuck on 2 lands, so then I added lands into the deck, I took lands out of the deck, and I ended back at 22. It was just weird because it just like kept happening. So like one game I'd be stuck on 2 lands, I would never be able to cast anything more than 1 spell, as I have a lot of 2-mana spells in the deck, and so I couldn't like really do anything, and I just died kind of to domain and stuff. Or there was some games where I just flooded and I just like couldn't stop drawing lands when I went to 24. So it was just like this weird kind of combination of cards that didn't work out that well. This is where I settled. Nashi's at 3. Leyline is kind of down in this deck for me right now, but I think I might end up putting her back up. Maybe substituting the Scavenger back out to maybe make my deck a little bit higher on the top end. I'm unsure. But this is where I currently play. Maybe the older version's a little bit better. I'm not sure. I think Nashi's gross after playing it in the blue-black version. So I think it's definitely worth getting in here, whether you play it over a lot of things, honestly. But it being able to grab anything in terms of enchantments and legendary-wise to put back in your hand is just too good. So outside of that, I hope you all enjoyed. I'll catch you next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.